Congressman Davis, it is great to see you. Thank you for joining me for our Biofuel Champion video series conversation. Great to see you again. It's been a couple of weeks. I want to start out, I want to start out by just asking you a broad question. Why is supporting the biofuels industry and the farmers so important to you?
Because of the district I represent. You don't have to look too far when you're driving down the roadway to go by what I call our special crop fields, corn and soybeans. The renewable fuel standard is a policy set in place that I got a chance to work on in my previous job, working for another member of Congress. I saw the benefit that gave to not only our farmers, it gave a marketplace for our products to go to, but it also made sure that our fuel system at the time, our ability to put more of an American-made product into our fuels was helping with national security issues. And now that America has become so much more energy independent since that time, I got to give a lot of credit to the biofuels portion of making sure that happened.
You and I talk a lot about bipartisanship, and that was something that you brought up in the Biofuels Caucus Town Hall that we did together a couple weeks ago. Talk to me about bipartisanship specific to the biofuels industry, and maybe some areas where you've been able to reach across the aisle and work with your colleagues in the other party to the benefit of biofuels in rural America.
You know, I got to Congress winning the closest Republican victory in the nation that year. I mean, many of my new colleagues were telling me I wasn't going to come back. So it was my goal then to make an impression. I joined the House Ag Committee and immediately built relationships with people like now Chairman Colin Peterson and many others. We worked together on a wide variety of issues when we were in the majority, when I was crafting the first farm bill that I got a chance to help write. That was back in 2013, and we finally passed it in 2014. Well, you fast forward, this next farm bill that we were able to work on, I was a subcommittee chair on the House Ag Committee, and part of my jurisdiction was ag research. Well, Jimmy Panetta, one of my best friends in Congress, Jimmy and I, we formed the Ag Research Caucus. It was his idea. I came along to co-chair it. And I remember when I got named to the conference committee, being a subcommittee chair, I saw that Jimmy did not get named to the conference committee. I saw him at an event that we were talking ag research that night at. And I said, Jimmy, give me your list of priorities for your district, and they will now become my priorities. And every single one that Jimmy asked for got put into that final version of the Farm Bill, because it's not about partisanship. It's about learning what matters to our colleagues, regardless of whether they're a Republican or a Democrat, but what matters to their constituents. I traveled out to Jimmy's district. He's traveled to mine. We understand that we have a vast difference in agricultural products. But now that we know that difference, we can also understand how to address it. And bipartisanship's been big to me. The Lugar Center, which is one of the premier ratings agency for who's bipartisan and who's not, has me listed as the 13th most bipartisan member out of 435. I wear that with a badge of honor.
Well, and a great example of you leading bipartisanship is your success in helping to get RVP across the finish line for us. You were a great champion for that, and so many others, and we're so appreciative. Let's talk about something that has really been driving the worst amount of demand destruction for the biofuels industry: small refinery exemptions. You've been very vocal and visible in your opposition to what the agency is doing. Right now, EPA has 86 pending applications for exemptions. 58 are gap year filings for years that go back as far as 2011. Talk to me about why it is so important that we address small refinery exemptions once and for all.
Well, because I think the process was abused under the previous EPA Administrator Pruitt. I think Administrator Wheeler is willing to listen, and frankly, he did listen yesterday to many of my colleagues on the House Ag Committee, where this was the #1 issue that was discussed. We have to come to a good conclusion on how to define small refinery exemptions, how to understand how the process cannot be corrupted moving forward. But at the same time, we have to get back some of those gallons that were required to be produced under law. We got to get them back into the system. And that's something that I continue to talk about, even to Administrator Wheeler and the administration, is that we can't just not follow the law, which is the renewable fuel standard. We have to understand what that law means, and the exemption processes that were put in place in that law cannot be corrupted. And that's really the message that we try and continue to send.
You and I have done several meetings. We've met at the White House. We've done virtual Zoom meetings with my constituents. In a couple of weeks, we're going to be having our annual Biofuel Summit at Growth Energy, where we're going to be bringing our members in virtually to meet with their elected officials. Why is it so important for you to hear from our members, from our supporters, from the biofuels, from the men and women that are the biofuels industry?
You know, because we are bombarded here in Congress with so many issues on any given day, sometimes priorities need to change back to what matters most to your district. And it's always good to talk to your members because the biofuels industry means so much to the producers in my district and to rural America. So it's always good to interact with your elected official, especially now when we don't have meetings, the face-to-face meetings that you and I used to enjoy. Now we don't get to do them. We're doing them online. But it also provides an opportunity to get access directly to those elected officials and do that more often. So take advantage of that. Don't underestimate the power of being face-to-face, talking about issues that are important to you, your communities, and your families. That interaction helps us become better legislators and helps us to write better policies.
Well, I thank you for being a stalwart champion for us. Continue to look forward to working with you and stay well in the days and the weeks ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Emily. I look forward to being at the NASCAR championship trophy presentation again, and we'll get more pictures standing right next to that car powered by ethanol.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thanks.